and boom, just like that. Close, just like that. Hey everyone, so we're taking a look at the Tesstudio Power Frunk, all right? A Power Frunk. I don't know why we don't have this at this point. This is a 2024 Model 3. Still doesn't come with a Power Frunk. Well, now it does. Nice. So we're gonna do the usual unboxing and then full install. All right, I'm gonna steal a bunch of the install video from Tesstudio, but I'm gonna cut in a lot with a number of different things for this kit, for this 2024 Model 3 Highland. This is a performance Model 3 Highland. This is made in the US. So there are always just a number of random differences between the cars and models. This is a performance. China doesn't have the performance model at all. Obviously, this was made in the US. They have Highlands there, but they're made in China. So there's just all of these differences. And one of the big differences is the power. You need a power source, and the power source they give you here is different than all the other videos that I have seen so far. So I'm going to show you how I had to tap into there, and that also might be valuable for any other reason you might want to get into that power supply up front here. And also many other tips on how to install this kit correctly, and even some bonus tips with the emergency release, and we get into a little bit of how to release the frunk in case of an emergency, whether you have this kit or not. Watch the whole thing. If you're comfortable, you can do it. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, these are the actual pistons here that will push the hood up and pull it back down. We've got two of those, okay. All kinds of cabling, of course. The control module. And then this is the actuator that will unlatch the hood. And what we've got here is an emergency loop in case the car runs out of power or whatever happens. Okay, these go along with the pistons here. Yeah, I'm not sure why we have a button here for the rear hatch. This is supposed to be for the frunk, so I don't know what the deal with that is. All right, a bunch of zip ties. We are going to need these. We've got some double-sided foam tape here. That's good. All right, let's get this thing installed. Another quick tip, I took off one of the struts on this side. Again, this is a Model 3 Performance. Real easy to take these struts off. But I was hoping with just the one strut, the hood would stay open. It kind of doesn't, wants to come down slowly. So just kind of put this mop in there. It's not a big deal. These hoods are really light. There's not much pressure coming down, especially if you leave one of the struts in. So I'm going to replace this strut now and then move to that side. Also, I would always just put something down on the fender here just in case you drop something or whatever. The last thing you want to do is nick up a fender doing something simple like this. take this off, you need to mark where this is. Why? Because if this is off, your hood will not be aligned once it's shut. And you will spend a lot of time trying to readjust this to get the hood to line up where it used to be, assuming it was good to begin from the factory. So put some tape down. You could try to use a black Sharpie, but it's going to be a little bit hard to see. But if you've got some kind of a silver, red, I don't know, some oil pen or something like that, you can mark where this was so that you're going to have a much easier time lining it up when you put it back on. Once you get this off, take a good picture video of where this spring is located so that you can put it back on properly. You do not want to mess this up, otherwise your hood will not latch and unlatch properly. Now these kits are all just a little bit different, so mine was different from this video too. Again, just a little bit. So this is going to go over here. Sorry, it's a little hard to do this with just one hand. This goes around here. Okay, we've got the cable going through there. And now I'm going to put the spring back on. Alright, I've got the spring back in, and the video shows this safety emergency little loop here as a separate piece that kind of wires in here, but it doesn't on this kit. This kit, again, for the Highland 3, that goes into the motor here. So there's no need to run any special cables, and I'll be showing where we route this a little bit later. Okay, I want to talk about the power source here. Get this thing off of here again. So here's what I had to do. With this tape on here, it's a little hard to see how this is, but there's just like 3 slots in this tab. And from what I can tell, this is the only like source to tap into in the front of the car here of the 16-volt battery. There's nothing to tap into, no like screw or bolt or anything like that around here. So I don't know, it's really strange, and the kit doesn't provide any way to tap into this. I got a like 6/32 screw with a lock nut on the other side here, so it, you know, it doesn't come off as easy. Maybe that's a little bit of overkill, but even there I had to kind of drill this hole out a little bit, or the slot out a little bit, even with a small 6/32. That is how I did it. Which is, again, it's a little disappointing that they don't have anything in the kit. I'm not sure what they could give you in the kit to attach to this thing. I mean, it's a really strange tab. I don't know, again, I've just never seen anything like it. It's just really weird. And anyway, you got to keep this thing really small if you want to put this back on, and I think you want to put this back on because you can't have like a big, that's a 16 volt source right there. You can't just have it open like that. It's really, I don't know, this whole thing is just, it's really weird. I don't understand this. Anyway, that's that. Okay, as far as where everything gets connected, basically there are no plugs that can be mistakenly plugged into something where it doesn't belong. So, you know, power plug, it only goes here, all right? That's the only place that's going to plug in. This plug here, it's the only place this is going to plug in. Same with these over here, that's it. This is the additional latch mechanism that we attached. There's a plug for that, right? It's just for that. These other plugs here, like this is for the lift on the left side, and this here is for the lift on the right side. You know, you've got your ground. This giant plug here, obviously, it's for the control module. So it's not too difficult. There's all kinds of plugs, but they only go in those locations. It's really all there are. All right, so I want to show how I am testing this before I get everything strapped down, tied down, and looking nice and neat. Because if I did all that and then it didn't work, anyway, you get the idea. So I hooked this button back up. This is the inside frunk button, and you can push this now and the frunk will go down. I'll show you that in a minute. But as a safety, I tied this little string to this latch, and if I pull on this, it will open the trunk up manually, because let's say the frunk does come down, locks in, and for whatever reason I can't get it back up. What am I going to do? So that's why I tied the string on, to kind of manually get this thing open. And then I also routed the safety loop. I'm doing snaked it through here, but anyway, I've got that routed out here just in case I've run into issues there too. So let me show you how this is working so far. Oh, there it goes. I thought it wasn't going to work. All right, boom, check that out. Closed. Let me pull the string here, see what happens. You got to pull it twice, by the way. And just so you know, frunk opens back up. Manually, it's pretty easy to just push on. So anyway, that is the test. Now really just got to route all these wires nicer. Okay, I'm about to start tidying everything up. I would suggest mounting this up here. You can see the wire loom goes under, comes back around here. Up here is, I think, one of the better locations, and I'm going to just basically tie strap it down. Up here, there's going to be less chance for water. If you mount it, you know, I've seen where people have mounted them like down low down here. There's going to be potentially more water getting down here. I don't know. This just seems like a good location. I'm going to wrap everything up as best as possible, as neat as possible. I put the ground wire over here. Could have just as easily put it here. At the time, no, the car was still kind of powered on. I didn't want to undo, and be careful with this too. You don't want to just kind of randomly be undoing grounds of electrical systems if the car is still on. I don't know what that would really do. So if you loosen up a bolt, a ground bolt, one of these electrical systems is going to be just kind of coming on and off. That can't be good for it. So I use this bolt here, which it's not really an electrical ground. It's not being used for an electrical ground, but it is electrical ground. So anyway, that's what I loosened up to slide that in for the ground for this. I have to double check that this is a good location here, but I believe it is. A reason why I like this location is that just the direction that these cables are in, it leaves it open. You don't want to bend them. You know, you don't want, like for example, You don't want this turned sideways to be bending that cable that far. This is how I decided to run it, and it works out. So far it's working out pretty well. And then this is a nice straight run here. Again, I've got to neaten everything up, but do not, like, this would be a really bad idea if I left the wires like this, because you can see this is where the tub gets screwed down to, and it would just tighten the tub right on here and it would crush these wires. Same goes for this location here and this location here. I think that's about it. So I am going to neaten everything up, tie down these wires as much as I can, then we'll go from there. Okay, to run this safety loop, this is a bit of a pain here, and there were no instructions on this in any way. So again, this is Model 3 Highland. I went in between the foam there, if you can see. I had to use like a screwdriver to just kind of push it back. It's not like there's no adhesive or anything holding it in there. So then I ran this wire down, and it popped up in there, and I pulled it out with some needle nose, and now I'm going to have to tie something onto this to pull it back up through here, because this is, you know, the wrong way. All right, got everything nice and neat, zip ties, you know, all over the place, just kind of tucked everything in. Tried to tuck everything in where any of the factory hoses, other wires run. This is not going anywhere. Still have access to the fuse here, some other connections. Have this zip tied down. Still have my little safety string in here just in case. All right, let's test it again before I put the tub and everything down, just to make sure nothing is disconnected. Everything still works fine. Ooh, nice. I'm going to put the tub back in, take my little safety string off here, and we should be good to go. Okay, this is supposed to be for some kind of emergency release. I think well, in this case, I think it's just if that motor somehow goes bad, this will release it. However, not 100% positive. I tried pulling on it and that, but it doesn't seem to really do anything. So I have a question into them about that. Also, this, if you're not aware, this little panel, I did a whole video on how to basically jumpstart your Tesla if you run into an issue with the low voltage battery. For example, if your low voltage battery gets low enough and you can't get the frunk open, you can do it using a 9-volt battery or something even smaller than that. This is actually a little 12-volt battery, but I like to tape one of these batteries to this here so that when you are, not when, if, let's say if you do get stuck out there, you have something that you can use to pop this trunk. And let me just show you, we'll use a 9-volt here. And it does have, these batteries do have positive and negative on them. And you've got black and white, or black and red, black always being the negative or ground, and wham. And in this case, we've got a nice power frunk. It keeps going up. So anyway, that's that. Go see that video. I'll have all the links below on that. It's a good video. So anyway, I am going to tie these together here so that this doesn't get, well, this is a really stiff cable, but we don't want it to get kind of lost in there. And then these kind of tie back into here. And I didn't show how to take this off. You basically push on one side of it, it tilts and comes out. I'm going to tuck this in here. And what I did too was to tape up the battery terminals here so that they don't get corroded, because this is kind of outside. So anyway, that's that. We're going to tuck all of this back in now and put that in there. This kind of gets put on there. Pushing in on this side will pop this out, and then you can open it. All right, we've got it all back together. Now check this out. One of the cool things is, you know, if you've watched the other parts of the video, you already know that this button here is now another method to close your frunk automatically, just like the back. So that is pretty sweet. And then obviously we get in here, boom, open again. And then you want to close it. Of course, you just push the button again and we've got it closed. On top of both of these, of course, you can use the app. Let's look at that. Controls and boom, just like that. Okay, and then close, just like that.